Awesome. Just wanted to hop on here and talk about automations a bit more. So, automations are kind of anything that is repetitive in your business that um, happens over and over again, something that you do repeatedly. I guess that's what repetitive actually means. But um, automations, I think, are a key part to a business running smoothly. Because if you're not automating repetitive tasks, you're spending time on doing something that you don't have to really do. So a lot of what I kind of do is I go in and I consult with the businesses on what they need done, and I try to work with like business to business, and talk about, okay, where are you spending your time? Where are some little minute things, like maybe they're spending 20 minutes a day doing something that you have to set up one time, and that saves hours a week. Um, so I think some big industries that do not have like proper technology and proper systems and automations in place are construction companies, HVAC companies, electrical companies, even some like mom and pop, printing, screen printing companies and whatnot. Maybe don't have proper systems in place to keep track of data, to keep track of their customers, and to keep track of what's actually going on. Um, I wrote like, do you have a CRM here on purpose? Because I think it's a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't even know what a CRM is, and a CRM stands for Customer Retention Management Software. It's a way of keeping track of users that are going to your business. It's a way of keeping track of customers and being able to send out like a personal email type thing on Christmas to your customers. That goes a really long way with keeping retention rates really high. Um, a person that does this, I think, really well is Thomas Petrofine. He was like automating things in the 70s, where he was working for an electrical. I think he was working for an electrical firm, and they were also doing financial investments, and they had to punch in like certain equations with like a punch card for code, and they were doing that repetitively, manually all the time. And he kind of came in and he's like, why are we this is something that we're doing every day. So he created these functions and these templates to be able to go in, and it's just like a template. So they have a certain equation and they grab that one template that's already made. They don't have to make it over again if it's already made, and they punch in the equation and they get what they need. And he ended up starting his business and becoming a billionaire off automating things that were repetitive. And his whole thing was like, automate everything that needs to be automated, everything that's repetitive needs to be automated. And I mean, obviously, he's a very successful guy. Founders did a really good episode. I would really suggest listening to the podcast about him, and I think it's very helpful. But yeah, a lot of construction companies don't do this very well. A lot of trade companies, they don't do this very well. The entire software industry is $560 billion, which is a chunk. The plumbing, HVAC, and electrical business is about $500 billion. So it's a huge portion of businesses in America, and it's also a huge portion of businesses that do not implement systems and technology very well. It's a lot of people that do not want to use the technology. It's pen and paper, which is fine, but they're missing out on a lot of profit and a lot of returning business because of that. I think a really interesting video that I've watched recently is from Morning Brew, where this journalist starts. She works for a couple plumbing businesses and kind of sees the ins and outs of what's going on, and she ends up like kind of starting a little business on her own. But the whole portion of it I think is really important is she talks to a private equity company who buys these HVAC, plumbing, and electrical businesses, and they put their own CEOs in them, and they put their own technology systems into the businesses, and they grow exponentially. It's low hanging fruit to implement technology. If you're not implementing that technology now, it might be a bit of an investment to do that, but it's going to save you so much time and so much money to be able to automate repetitive tasks. Like, why would you not think about that? But anyways, kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I'm gonna put my link to my calendar if any of you guys wanna book a time. I would really suggest it. It's free. Let's talk for 15 minutes, and maybe I would love to hear your pain points, and maybe you're just not thinking about certain tools that are affordable that you can implement, or maybe we can work together and build out a system that works for you. But would love to chat, and yeah, have a great day.